I know, for a lot of guys out there, and some ladies too, that music gets you pretty darn excited. Are you ready for some football? A lot of diehard fans out there not only watching their favorite teams, but of course creating fantasy teams of their own. And our dear friend Jeff Coruccini from fantasyfootballstarters.com, along with Russ Bliss, joining us. So thank you both for being here today.
Thank you.
All right, you guys have been working hard the last 8 months getting ready for fantasy football season. Where do folks even start? I know they've been selecting their teams over the past few weeks and still doing it through this week.
You got it, Tess. And we're excited to be back. It's 2008 NFL Fantasy Football. I brought Russ on because he's our senior fantasy football analyst, and we're getting close to the start of the season. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some tips as you kick off the season, starting to manage your roster. And
that's what we'll be doing throughout the season. If you're new and haven't seen this or not familiar with what we do every Sunday during football season, we have Jeff and Russ come in and they give you guys tips, and their tips are pretty darn good because that's all you guys do, right, Russ? This football is your life right now.
Football is our life right now, and of course all the fantasy football drafts are wrapping up right now. It's the last weekend before the start of the regular season, and therefore there are some tips that we have going into the first week of the regular season that people should be focusing on when they're making their decisions for their fantasy football rosters.
Okay.
And the first one is start your studs. Always start the guys that are the best players on your team. Don't get wrapped up in the matchups. Don't start second guessing yourself. You drafted these guys to be your primary guy. Start them every week. Second one is don't be concerned if your stud is a dud for 1 week. If he's a dud
I like that,
for 1
stud
week,
is a dud. Give him a second chance.
Exactly.
Okay.
He's going to average out and he's going to put up his big numbers, but every player has got a down week. And the third one is
don't panic.
Don't buy into the 1 week wonder.
That's true.
There are 1 week wonders every year. That first week of the season, we always see one player that comes from nowhere that actually puts up really big numbers, but then he does nothing the rest of the season. It happened last year with the Redskins wide receiver Antoine Randall L. He was a big free agent pickup after week number 1, and then he did almost nothing the rest of the year.
And that's probably, I mean, people jump on their instinct of, okay, we got to go with this guy because he's doing well instead of sticking with the long run. What about LaDainian Tomlinson? Is he still the #1 draft pick right now?
Yes, he is. He is popular, Tess. Everybody's picking him #1 in the drafts, and it's just a perfect example of the hype and everything. And another thing is, you know, it's kind of like the stock market. So our tips are, it's like, you know, when we come in every week, buy low, sell high. This is the same thing. It's the first week coming up. Don't panic if your studs don't perform. It just got to kind of be patient, just like everything else.
I'm going to remember that line. If your stud is a dud, don't panic. All right. We, of course, are on Cardinal Watch as well. Yep. What can we look forward to? You know, it's still, of course, the big question, who's going to be the starting QB?
Yeah, we had Matt Leinart as the starter, but it looks like it's going to be Kurt Warner this year. So looks like Leinart's the odd man out, isn't it, Russ?
Yes, Matt Leinart's going to start the season on the bench. Kurt Warner is going to start the season as the quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals. And this is actually a pretty good situation for fantasy players because Kurt Warner is a man that has more trust with Coach Wisenhunt for throwing the football down the field.
Yep.
Matt Leinart looked really shaky in that third preseason game against the Oakland Raiders, and I think that having Kurt Warner out there allows the Arizona Cardinals to open up their offense a little bit more.
Yep.
Okay.
And we got Larry Fitzgerald. We're predicting, I mean, he's one of the super studs as far as a fantasy player on the Cardinal roster.
So you want him?
Oh, yeah. 1,300 yards, probably 12 touchdowns and over 100 catches. And Edgerrin James, you just saw some tape on him, too. We're predicting him to just get over 1,000 yards in about 6 or 7. So we're going to keep an eye on all the Cardinal players, but those are the 3, and obviously the quarterback position is interesting to watch right now.
And fantasy football just keeps getting more popular every year, and especially amongst the women.
Yeah, it looks like right now the FSTA is reporting tests that on average there's about 20 million people playing fantasy football. So about 10 or 12% of them are women.
Wow.
And one of the things that we do every year is we're going to have our gift card giveaway.
Okay.
And that is a $25 gift card. And we're going to give one away on every show. And the question this week is if somebody emails Jeff at fantasyfootballstarters.com with the answer to who caught the winning touchdown pass in this past Super Bowl between the Patriots and the Giants. And I know you know that answer, Tess.
Of course I know that answer.
But there may be some people out there that don't. So if you email Jeff at fantasyfootballstarters.com, first person to email me with the right answer, who caught the winning touchdown pass in this past Super Bowl, you'll get a free fantasy football gift card.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to a season of great tips from you guys, so thank you very much. Again, it's fantasyfootballstarters.com. We have a link on azfamily.com. Made it easy for you to get a hold of Jeff or Russ for any tips that'll help you with your team. And All right.
Thanks.
It's going to be a good season, I think. We'll be right back, folks. Stay with us.